Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Psychic TV International. Surprise! It is Thursday, November the 6th at 8 o'clock Australian Eastern Time. My name is Harry T, and normally this is a show that is on every Thursday at 8 o'clock, hosted by Michael Dimarco. Now, I know that those of you who are watching are familiar with the Thursday night show with Michael and the Saturday night show with myself. And if you watched Saturday, you would have seen that I actually said there won't be a Thursday show for a few weeks. Well, we ended up changing our mind last minute and decided, why don't we do a special show? And I'll host it and interview Michael. So it will be an interview show with Michael. Now, what I just want to do is I just want to see if we are streaming and if it's all going good. So if you are watching, please like the video and please share the video and comment in the comment box so we know that you're there. Let me just see if it's... Oh, perfect. We're streaming, everyone. Wonderful. And I'll see if that works if I press that button. How are you, Beth? Are you feeling a little bit better? I saw that you said that you weren't feeling well or you were a little bit under the weather not long ago. Hope you're feeling well now. Hey, Andrew, good to see you. So yes, a surprise. It is a very special show, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. Michael Dimarco, as you all know, as I said, hosts a Thursday night show, and I do the Saturday night show. And literally after the Saturday night show, we had a quick little chat with production, and we thought, you know what, let's just do a surprise. So surprise, everyone. It's going to be wonderful, and I think we're going to have a lot of fun. And I'm going to bring Michael on right now. But before I do, just reminder, this will be an interview-style show. So if you happen to want to ask any questions of Michael, feel free to. Otherwise, I'll just run with it. And, of course, remember the website is psychictvinternational.com for all of the information on the show. And I'll see if we've got any psychics logged in if you want to actually talk to someone. And then I'll bring Michael on. Let me just double-check. Who might be logged in. Actually, production, can you do me a favor? Can you just let me know who's logged in and then I can just focus on the show? That would be fabulous. So remember, psychictvinternational.com is the website, and the phone numbers in Australia, hold on, I'm going to have to find the list because it's a little bit different to my Saturday night show right up. Okay, so the phone numbers in Australia, 02907 10199, and our international number worldwide is +614 888 25177, and I'll just see who is logged in for you to speak to. We've got Amazing Grace on pin 9888. We've got Blessed Beth on pin 9150. We've got Judith Sky on pin 9125. We have Mystical L on pin 9151. And we have Natalie Norton Baker on pin 9810. So they're all available for you if you want to talk to someone and actually get a reading on the phone, one-on-one. Otherwise, come and join us tonight and have a chat with myself and Michael. Okay, let's bring on Michael Dimarco. Hey,
Hello.
Michael. How are you?
Good. It was kind of nice to just sit back and have someone else introduce the show for a change.
It's amazing. It's amazing that we're doing this. I think it's so much fun that it's just like a surprise because I know that you were taking a little bit of time off on the Thursday show, and then we kind of thought, well, why not? Why don't we just do a surprise show and see how that goes? So what we'll do...
Well, I'm full of surprises, so yeah.
No, amazing. Hold on. I'm just going to send you a note. I think you just did it anyway. All right, amazing. Okay, so let's see. Hey, everyone. Michael, first question is, what makes Michael Michael? What makes you you?
That's actually a really good question. I wasn't expecting you to throw that one at me.
Yeah, what makes Michael Michael?
What makes me Michael? So, I mean, a lot of elements. I mean, I think what people don't realize, well, or they do or they don't, is that I'm not just a psychic. So
Yes.
there's layers. I'm like, as Shrek says, I'm like an onion. And basically, a nice smelling version of an onion. So there are a lot of layers to me that kind of bring me who I am, you know. So my background is actually in the film industry. So I'm a writer and director by trade, and that's what I studied at uni. And what I suppose am really passionate about and what drives me and motivates me is telling creative stories and inspiring people in that way. So that's like one of many layers that sort of make and create the person that I am. And the psychic stuff is sort of almost a small part of that layering, and it's probably something that we'll break down tonight, you know, all those layers.
Yes. Well, I think that's what makes you so great at also the production side of this show, because as Michael just said, he's got this background in film and in media, And apart from being a wonderful host on the Thursday night, he does a lot with production. So a lot of you may not realize that, but a lot of this show is put together by Michael, and obviously we've got Anne Marie
and all this like decoration.
Exactly, which is amazing. And actually, I'll give you a little bit of insight. Michael, so this background that everyone can see, Michael put together and actually showed me how to put it on the background. So that was really good of you. Okay, so I want to ask, do you feel and just to remind everyone, no readings tonight, but if you want to ask anything of Michael on an interview style, please feel free. Hi, Diane. Hello, Nita. Hello, Erin. People are already loving it, which I'm so happy about. Do you feel that your creative side in the film industry as a creative, does that help you with your spiritual work, or do you feel like they're separate?
Yes and no. Like at times, I definitely find that it does help with the reads, because I am quite visual on a creative level and work quite visually in the media industry. When I'm trying to describe a message to a client, that visual description does help in that sense, because I can kind of use colors and all sorts of sort of creative descriptions to help with the message I'm trying to deliver in a creative way. So I suppose in a way my readings are probably more creative than anything else in the description element side of things. And I definitely try and involve both. So I try and reach as many people through my creative work as well. Like hence like doing a live show, for example, or just using media to reach more people to help in that sense as well. That's something that I have started doing more recently and will continue to do more in the new year on a more sort of deeper level, so to speak.
Fantastic. And I want to ask, what's your favorite thing about hosting the Thursday night show as a host? Because
as a host,
yeah.
Well, Tom, I could almost ask you the same sort of question, and there might be similar answers. But I'm wondering if yours will be a similar answer to mine. I just love reaching people and communicating with people. So seeing our regulars come on, you know, the Cheries, the Nitas, the Beths, you know, the Andrews, like those that do come on to the Saturday also come on to the Thursday show. And you kind of create like a bit of a community, a bit of a family with the following. And of course, we welcome new followers as well. So I think it's just having that sort of almost family community organization sort of thing going on with the comments, that it kind of like sometimes I look forward to chatting to some of the regulars that I know they're going to be there, and it's what's your week been up to, and you've lived a life, and it's like a really safe space, and I really kind of love that on a sort of emotional level.
I think that's a great answer, and you know there was no wrong answer to that, because it is what you obviously there is no wrong answer. But I think hearing that, it makes it so personal, and so it's got that sort of there's that family union that you sort of touched on. And personally, and I know this isn't the Saturday night show or even, you know, about why I love hosting the Saturday night show, but it is similar to what you said. You do build that rapport, those relationships, and we get to know people, and I think that is wonderful. And no matter if someone is a new follower or an existing follower, they become part of the tribe.
And I think they come back for that reason too.
Oh, totally. I mean, we know people's birthdays, their weddings, when people are having grandbabies. I mean, you know, I just feel so blessed that people keep me up to date with that, and they do with you also. I'm just having a look at these comments. Erin has said, I've loved listening to you both. Thank you for sharing your time. Oh, we love that, Erin. Nita said, spot on to Michael. Psychic TV is watching. We love you, Psychic TV, so much. Erin said, I've been a long time. I love Jane. I mean, couldn't love her anymore if I tried. Erin said, I've been a long time Harry T follower. Oh, thank you. And was blessed to read at a live show twice. Oh, thank you, Erin. Well, thank you for joining us and on this show. Now, I do have a question about your Thursday show, because I, wanted to know what you loved about hosting it. This was a very random surprise show that we're doing tonight to interview you. But my question is, how are you seeing the Thursday night show panning out based on what you've been doing so far? Are you seeing changes being made to it as a host? Like, are you thinking you want to change it a little bit, or are you liking the style it's heading? What are you seeing for the Thursday show? Because this is a good opportunity now to sort of think, okay, you're being interviewed about it, right? So you have the sort of floor if you want to make changes to it, you can probably, yeah. What do you think?
Well, Jane's watching, so she can say
I
yes or
know.
no to that. Firstly, though, I kind of just, I sort of wanted to highlight at the beginning too, is that this is my first ever psychic interview in my life. So no one in history has ever actually interviewed me. I've been interviewed in the media stuff and countless podcasts and things like that, but no one's actually interviewed me in a spiritual platform. So I just wanted to sort of highlight that as well. In regards
I didn't want to say that. I let you say that. I didn't want to say that. I thought I'll let Michael say it if he wants to.
Yeah. But in regards to the show, look, as I said, I do it for the love of the reaching people on a creative level and being able to have like that interaction and be able to reach and help people, because the Thursday shows, as opposed to Saturdays, we don't do psychic readings. So we help in a way that we talk about spiritual stuff, from clarity to grounding to, you know, whatever it is that you may not even think about, that you gain something from the Thursday show, from the discussions. It's a discussion show, as you said. So I want to take that and really grow it as far as I can. I mean, if it's doable, I would love to get like actual viewers on live, you know, one at a time each week or whatever, just randomly pick someone. I don't know how that could like quite work in the long run, but, you know, take that interactive and take it to the next level and really reach people and really be able to do something that not a lot of shows don't really do. Like there's a lot of the same sort of concept out there. So I want to I've always been about the edge, or doing something that's not already there, or how can we make it more exciting, you know?
Yes.
So
well,
it's a bit of a watch this. Yeah. So it's a kind of a watch this space moment. Jane and I will have a discussion about how we can sort of, you know, take it more than just a talk show type format. Do we expand into a more of a podcast? You know, do we, you know, there's definitely avenues we can take the show, and it's just doing what's going to work and what's going to be right for the show and for the viewers as well.
I love that. I think that's a great answer, because it is very viewer-led. And I think, you know, it doesn't have to be readings-led. It's viewer-led, because, you know, at the end of the day, people sometimes just want a little bit of a chat, want a little bit of a, you know, insight into your world or someone else's world, or they're just fascinated by the subject matter. And I think that's a great point. And I think cause on the Saturday night show, we've brought on viewers on the live before, sort of as special shows, and they work great. And I love that. You know, I'm all about that interaction. But I think what I love about your Thursday show is it is different to the Saturday show, because it's not reading led. And I think that, I love that. I love that. So you're doing a great job. Hello, Jen. Hello, Tanya. They're watching and they're saying that they love the Thursday shows as well, which we love. Now, I want to ask a question, because you brought it up. I wasn't going to say anything because I knew that this was your first interview in sort of a spiritual format. But it is a psychic show, so it's sort of a blend of the spiritual and the media. Because it's your first interview, I do want to ask, were you nervous? Because you're not a nervous person about your media work, because you're so used to it. But were you nervous about maybe this sort of style, because it's a more of a spiritual show? Were you nervous about that?
I was shitting myself.
That's hilarious.
Honestly, yes. And it's really funny, because a lot of people don't really know this, or maybe they do, or I don't know. But even with my Thursday show, I still get nervous going live on a Thursday show every week. Mm-hmm. Every week. I have my little rituals that I do. I don't eat dinner prior. I always eat dinner after going live on a show, because of just, you know, nervousness and things like that. And I treat it very much like I'm going live on stage. So like I'll actually spray cologne. I actually like...
Oh, I love that.
I actually mentally get myself ready as if I'm going to be live on TV or on a platform show kind of thing. So I shower, I put cologne on, I do my hair, I actually do hair and makeup. Like, I know people might be laughing, and I hope you are, but I do this every single week. And then I sit in my room about to go live, and the nerves build every week. And they say that's a good thing. But I still, like, even though I love going live and I love, you know, well, actually I hate the attention side of things, but I love sort of the reachness and the like entertainment purposes or side of things. But yeah, I still get nervous doing my own show. So tonight was like doubly nervous. And I was like, I was sitting there going, oh my God, like this is weird. But I welcome it.
I love it. I love it. What a great answer. I mean, part of it I was expecting, with the other part I wasn't. I think we learned so much more about you in that little tidbit. I think that was awesome.
Well, that is the purpose of tonight, yeah.
Melissa said you show up. I mean, we can bring up some of these. She's saying you show up, which is lovely. Jen has said that she's so into the spiritual world, would love to know more about it. I love that. Do you know what I've just noticed? Have you noticed that it looks a little bit different on the screen? Has there been an update or something?
It's StreamYard, so probably.
Yes, there's been an update, hasn't there?
Yeah.
No? Yeah, it looks different to mine. That's great. Now, Cherie's out again. Cherie, you have been out so much. I feel like we've almost forgotten you, Cherie. That would never happen. It would never happen. It's impossible to forget Cherie. But how have you... You're out again. And she's probably not even listening to that because she's probably gone. Hi, Kelly. Okay, that was the really good answer. So I suppose what I also want to ask in terms of the spiritual aspect... you have said this a few times when you've come on the Saturday show as a guest psychic, but I sort of want to delve more into it in the sense that you don't feel yourself as a medium, right?
No. Yes. Okay. Correct.
So I would love to know more about that. Is that more because you prefer the psychic aspect, or is that because you just don't like? What is that? What's that about? You just want the medium?
Yeah. Look, it's everyone's bugging me to become a medium. And it's definitely there, like the gift, I think, and you'll probably understand and relate to this, I think when you kind of start off as a psychic and you're sort of developing these gifts and you start going public with it and you start doing public readings, you've got that sort of natural nervousness of, am I going to be any good or am I getting it wrong? You kind of overthink things and whatnot. So you go through that and then you kind of gain the confidence, more experience, more, readings, blah, blah, blah. It becomes really, easy. I think with me, mediumship, I in my head, and I'm an overthinker, is that because I've got Gemini in my moon, so I really overthink and procrastinate on things, that I've kind of decided that, mediumship is such a complex gift in a sense that, and because you are dealing with a lot more heavier emotion in regards to people's loved ones, that if you do get it wrong or if you aren't quite accurate, it just, in my mind, it's kind of like, well, I don't know if I can really or want to deal with that kind of fallout kind of thing. So I just kind of just stick to what I know and what I'm more confident in that sense. But every now and then I will randomly get like a mediumship reading, like I'll smell... I did a reading not long ago for someone and I kept smelling like burnt skin, and someone had died in a car crash. And I kept smelling that. And I couldn't work out. And then I kept seeing little things. It comes to me in little drips and drabs, like little drips. I'm not getting a full picture. So it's kind of developing. Like I can tell spirits. I think that's really interesting. Yeah.
I'm so glad that we asked that because I've noticed in when you've come on as a guest on the Saturday, I've seen that in you. Like it's around there. Like you sort of can tap into it, but it's more like you're choosing not to. And I don't think that's a bad thing. Personally, and I'll share this, and people might not expect it because I'm really good at the mediumship, but I really don't like it. I'm one of those people who don't enjoy it. I know I've done so much of it. Did it just freeze? But we're speaking, it just froze, I think. So yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Let's see if I'm back. Yeah, okay, perfect. Yeah. And while we're talking about that, all of a sudden it just froze. Yeah, perfect. It's almost like it sort of came into that little interruption that's talking about spirits. That's actually a good example of why. So I sort of don't, right. I don't really enjoy the mediumship at all. I mean, I'm really good at it, but I don't enjoy it because of things like that, even those little glitches, like that little glitch of, the spirit activity. I'm not really a fan of that. I don't really like that. But it's more because people get so much from it that I still allow myself to do it. But I think one day I'll probably say no because I don't enjoy it. To me, it just lingers. I don't like spirits hanging around that aren't my people.
And I think too, and the thing is too, right. Yeah. And I think too, it's like, I know not everyone physically sees spirit. You get messages different ways. I don't know what my gift's going to be like if I chose to kind of tap into it. I wouldn't want to see spirits walking around for sure. I kind of like dealing with just the living.
It can be scary. It can be scary.
I don't want some little girl sitting at the end of my bed, waking me up.
It can be scary. It can be scary. And there will be one day that I'm going to tell people, you know what, as much as you want it, no, go to someone else. Because
Which is funny though.
you know,
Yeah, exactly.
like I said, yeah. Yeah, it is like that. So I'm glad that we covered that. Okay, so in terms
But it's
of
really
your
funny though,
psychic
just
work,
on that though,
Mm.
with the mediumship. So it was funny because when I was a really kid, I didn't know anything. I actually used to play with two ghosts, and I didn't know that. I actually
see,
thought they were two living
you
boys,
thought they were real people. Yeah.
real people, and I have vivid memories of to this day of that. I remember these people in detail, and I thought they were. My mom's like, "No, you were playing with yourself." That sounds dirty, but like you're actually like you were talking, and
There
I
was no one else
was
there.
speaking.
Yeah.
There's no one else there, and I was speaking in a more old English accent, or not accent, but language, because they were from the 18th century.
Wow.
And
That's
yeah,
amazing.
they died in the place that we lived in. So that's, it was there. But obviously, when you're younger, the gift is a lot more prominent. Like you've got no boundaries.
Well, because you don't have that censorship of, that's not abnormal to you that a couple of other kids will be playing around, like it's not weird. But I think as an adult, we sort of censor things more. Okay, so in terms of your psychic work, because you prefer that, obviously we've covered, and I agree, I definitely prefer it as well. Have you felt like things shock you in the psychic work that isn't scary, but more like a surprise, like something you might have predicted or something like that?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, yes, there's definitely, I can't think of an example off the top of my head right now, but there's definitely been examples where I've given a reading and actually one example that's coming to my mind is I did a reading a few months ago with someone who was just newly pregnant, and I kept seeing this like gold carousel, and I'm like, what's with the gold carousel? Because merry-go-rounds have multiple things. Carousels only have horses. So I kept seeing this like carousel of horses, and it was really gold. It was beautiful. It was like a gift, and I was really attached to it. And for the life of us, me and the client, we couldn't work out what the meaning was. We knew she was pregnant. That was established and whatnot. But this kept coming up. When she left my place, because I was doing readings face-to-face at that time, she got home. There was a package at her doorstep. It was a gold carousel in that package. And she just was like, and she didn't even know who it came from. It was just a random anonymous kind of gift that just came. Right. And yeah, it was, so stuff like that was like, okay, random, because we still don't know what the message was behind that. So yeah, there are some readings I do that I kind of go, yeah, that sort of surprised me later, because at the time it may not make sense. The client may not be able to recognize or understand what I'm saying. But then like a week later, they'll give me a call and be like, oh my God, what you said in that reading, blah, 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 blah has happened. And I'll be like, oh, and it's kind of like, I still get surprised. It's not an ego thing. You kind of remove that. It's kind of like, because, when they're not understanding or resonating what you're saying, you kind of go, shit, maybe I'm getting this wrong, or I'm not connecting. So you kind of just go off topic. But when they come back to you a week later, it's kind of, again, it's not ego. It's just a nice reminder to go, okay, I've got to believe in myself, and I've got to have that confidence, because although it may not making sense live, and it does later, I've got to trust that I'm getting that now. So if it doesn't make sense, I kind of now learn to say to the client, look, if it doesn't make sense to you now, give it a week or two, it probably will, kind of thing.
Well,
it's keeping that confidence.
Great. I think that's great, because I think also with the confidence, and I think this will help a lot of people out there that are also watching, don't ever be afraid to be wrong. You're not meant to be 100% right all the time. If you were, no one would be able to afford you, I'll be honest. I mean, if you never got anything wrong, you would charge fees that no one would be able to afford, and that's just the truth. I mean, if someone had 100% of information 100% of the time, you would be infinite. You'd be priceless. You know what I mean? So just remember that. Like, the expectation of being right all the time shouldn't be there, because it's not really there. It's more conversational, and this actually segues into this, because you and I have touched on this a little bit before on Saturday night shows. You bring a great coaching, your life coach background as well.
Yes.
Into your work. So do you want to touch on that? Because I think that's extremely powerful, and in my opinion, even better than the psychic aspect. But what do you do when you merge it?
Yeah, exactly. So I spoke before about how I bring a lot of my creative work into my readings as well. So I also bring a lot of my life coaching, counseling background into my readings on top of that. So you kind of get a nice little cheap package, cheaper than going to a counselor. So
Yes.
basically, during COVID, we all kind of went internal and either did an online course in something or we did something. And I chose life coaching. Well, I chose counseling. I did 12 months in that. And then I did, like, I found that was too um, medical. And I didn't like I
Mm,
liked some of the descriptions. Like, I really focused on human behavior and compliant behavior, non-compliant behavior and things like that. But I found the counseling was too textbook, too like this, whereas
mm,
life coaching is a lot more about, well, what do you want and how can we help you? And that it
yeah.
just resonated a bit more with me. And so I ended up kind of going down that path more full time because I like the idea of being really to help. Okay, well, how can we achieve those goals? And what does that look like?
Exactly.
And what are the steps that we need to take? Not, you got to write a journal or do, nothing against counseling because it does work, but it just didn't work for me. I just didn't resonate with
Yeah.
me personally. So I
Yeah.
took
Yeah.
my psychic, being an empath and working with emotion with my clients and as a reader, I with my readings, I obviously give you the messages that need to come through. But if you're like in the, life changing path, or if you're like changing careers or even in relationships, or you're feeling a bit stuck, I kind of give you the reading on what I feel or see is kind of happening. But then subtly in a way, but it kind of happens organically as well, that the life coaching text kind of comes in. It's like, okay, well, I can
Mm,
see this change for you, but let's set up some realistic goals to get there. So you
love
kind
it.
of, you get the reading, but you end up getting kind of a bit of a
Tools,
life coaching,
tools,
yeah, that you can
tools,
actually use.
tools. Exactly. And I
It's
think
not just, oh yeah, I see you meeting your love in,
I
in two
love
months
that.
time. It's
I
like,
love
what are you
that
going to do here to get to that 2 month goal?
because you're helping people with that. That's really transforming. And I think it's empowering, it's transforming, it's powerful, and people, it's a takeaway. Because I think sometimes people like to hear things, but they don't like to follow up or do the work. And I
Or
think
they get
that's,
scared by it.
well, yeah, but then it's almost like if you're going to fear it, it defeats the purpose of going to someone, so
Mm.
I think that's why your combination to it I think is great, and I think people really like that, and I certainly do as well. Okay,
Well,
so let's
I've
see.
got regular clients that have actually said to me, I come to you on a regular basis because it's cheaper and less scary than going to an actual counselor.
Wow. Well, I think you were touching on something about the counseling being a little bit more in the scientific aspect of things,
Mm.
and I get that because it is a little bit more textbook how it's taught, I suppose. But if you dissect even the word counsel, counsel is even like someone that's in the legal field, like that's
Yeah.
counsel. Counsel, it's a lawyer as well. So it's sort of how you blend it and what you make from that. But I want to segue into something because you said something about you being an empath, and I have found that protection is probably the most important aspect of any spiritual work. And there are some people out there who don't even protect themselves. And I find that spiritually very unsafe. Um, but it just is. Anyone who is spiritual would know that. And if they don't, then that's fine for them. But it's just an interesting arena that they're touching into because it's not spiritual then. But anyway, that's another story. Um, as an empath, I find they in particular need to protect themselves, even though everyone does. And in spiritual work, everyone needs to. Empaths seem to need it even more. So, can you speak to
Yeah.
that?
Um, yeah, I mean, again, each, as you know, like everyone is different in how they do things and how they respond. Like some empaths can take a lot more than others in that sense. So you kind of do it's just, I suppose, it's being really in tune to yourself and knowing what doesn't work for yourself. For me in particular, I know where my limit is. So I
Mm,
know when, okay, you know, when to say no more. That's something I've only recently learned. I used to be a yes man. I used to say yes to everything because for me it was like, oh, I need that extra money or I need this, so I better do the booking and all with good intentions and everything. But I have now gone, you know what? I might be, say, this week struggling financially, but I'm still going to say no to that booking because I just need a week off to recharge because it's not going to be good for me or the client. So there's that as well, but also just like I do. So for me, every morning when I have a shower, that's my cleansing. So I don't meditate. I don't have the patience for it. Like I couldn't even, if you tell me to sit there and cross my legs and sing "Come by Eye," there's no chance in hell that's happening with me. But in the shower, I imagine the water, I do a white light cleanse with the water in the shower, and I imagine like everything going down the drain, all the negativity, like all the attachments and whatnot. And I start my day fresh and do it again at night. So when I'm done with my readings or afternoon, whenever I'm done, I do the same shower cleanse. And that's how I keep myself kind of going. I'll have my crystals. I usually wear, like today's amethyst, I usually have clear quartz. So I do the grounding work that needs to be done. But I think for anyone that might be interested or wondering, just know your limits and just don't be afraid to sort of say, no, I just can't right now. I'll get back to you.
No, I think that's great. Callie has said that Callie likes to ground at the beach, which I think is good because you've got that salt water. But you know what you said about meditation? I like this, by the way, because you're saying things that are making me think questions for you. Meditation doesn't have to be just sitting in a lotus position. It can be a walk, or it can even be like you were saying, a shower. That can even be a meditation. It's anything that clears your mind, and it sounds like you get clear through that. But I love walks. I go on walks, and quite often people say to me, "Oh, we want to go on walks with you." I'm like, "Well, that defeats the purpose why I go for walks. I go for walks to clear I go for walks to clear out the people, not to bring them in."
It's not a social thing. Yeah.
It's not a social thing. People are always like, "Oh, we want to go for walks with you." I'm like, if you think I go for walks because it's a social thing, you got the wrong friend. It's not my thing for walks. It's how I zone out. So I like to put my headphones in, go on walks on my own, just down the street, and that's my meditation. I really like that. Jen said something that I liked. Jen said, "I was driving home one day, and when I was slowing down in the corner of my eye, I saw a black figure running across me to my left. And then a couple of days later, I found a young person that's passed or unalived in that spot many years ago." So, Jen, I wonder if that means that you picked up on the energy of that situation, because sometimes places hold memory. It's like memory. I don't know if you've ever had this experience, Michael, but as a sensitive person, and sensitive is also another word for psychic, intuitive, sensitive. As a sensitive, you can sort of go into an environment and you can feel things about that environment, and it doesn't have to be
100%.
spirit.
Yeah.
You get it, right? It's like it's like memory. And
it's the same reason why I can't actually go secondhand shopping or accept secondhand clothing or furniture, because I just can't, because I sense that energy or whoever owned it before. So it's not an ungrateful thing. It's a huge spiritual thing.
Oh, it's just so interesting. I tend to, like, I've got a collection of very, very, very old books, like super old books. And they're obviously all secondhand, and they're very expensive because, like, they're, when something is out of print or rare, they're very expensive. Anyway, they're like really discolored and stuff, and they've even got a smell to it. The biggest thing I do to these books is I have to cleanse them. I'm like, I've got to cleanse them because you never know where they've come from. I'm like cleansing all these old things. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then I'm like, well, I've changed the smell to sage. So now they smell like sage. But anyway, it's kind of funny. Very funny. Beth has said that she goes to sleep with meditation. She's doing a childhood trauma one as we speak. Fantastic. So if you can go to sleep from the meditation, that's good, because it means that it's relaxed you. Okay, so that was awesome. What is your, I suppose, okay, I've got two questions in this because it popped into my head. What is your favorite thing about being psychic, and what is your least favorite thing about being psychic?
Ooh. I think that's actually a really good question, and I think the answer to both is the same. You're doing well. I'm joking. I actually think it's the same answer, and I'll elaborate. And the answer is helping people.
Oh, okay, great.
So I love helping people, and I love giving people that clarity. But then at the same time, sometimes the help that you give can really drain you, especially if they don't listen, take on board, or whatever. Like if it's kind of a bit of a time waster. For that same reason, it can also make the reading or the being a psychic, draining, and where you kind of want to take those breaks and things like that. Because I love helping people and I love giving people that clarity and that direction. But at the same time, it can be so draining that it actually makes you go, I just can't do this for much longer. So it kind of yeah, it kind of works for both reasons.
No, I think that's really like an interesting answer because it's almost like the same. It was really interesting to hear that. Hold on, production, just okay. Just trying to. Okay, so I'm just trying to get this. Okay, so just want to also remind everyone who might want a reading one-on-one. In Australia, the number is 02907 10199, and our international number worldwide is +614 888 The website is psychictvinternational.com, and I'll just quickly read out the PIN numbers. We've got Amazing Grace on PIN 9888. We've got Blessed Beth on PIN 9150. We've got Judith Sky on PIN 9125. We've got Mystical L on PIN 9151. And we've got Natalie Norton Baker on PIN 9810. And we've got Ben Graham on PIN 9166. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. All right, let's see. Kelly is on a roll on here. We've got some people apparently. Yeah, it's so funny. I can see all Kelly's messages on here. We've got some people watching on YouTube that I want to say hi to as well. Hi, those of you on YouTube. I forget that we're on YouTube.
Yeah, so do I.
So yeah, I do. All right, that was a really good answer that you gave me. Okay, so I suppose what is, and this is sort of a common question that a lot of psychics get asked. What is your most prominent, Claire? And I think you mentioned it briefly without saying it, but what is your most prominent Claire?
Yeah, look, it depends on the day, really. I suppose my most prominent one would have to be, it would just have to be more like of a sight one. I should know the Claire's. It's more, yeah, it's more sight. Like I more see things in my third eye when I'm getting readings. And then depending on the message and the connection and whatnot, it'll either then link into like something I'll hear or something that I would probably more hear, to be honest. I sort of see and then I hear like any additional information that I need to know to be passed on from my guides. And then really random, if I'm really connected or if it's like, as you know, spirits like, no, we're passing on this message, I'll get like a smell or a taste. I don't think I've had a taste for probably more than a year, if not longer than that. But definitely smell. And if I'm out, like if I'm in like an old building or, well, not even that really, that's pretty cliche, but if I'm just sort of in a scenario, I can sort of smell like if someone's got perfume or cologne that was in there, like at some point or things like that. But yeah, it's more sort of more sight and hear that I get definitely like in most of my readings. Production and Harry having a private chat.
Oh, we just yeah. Ignore that. You keep going because you're doing great.
Yeah, that pretty much answers the question.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. And I think as a creative, I think it makes sense because you were mentioning how you're a very visual person. So I thought, okay, well, that makes sense.
Yeah, and that definitely plays a huge part in both readings and just work. And I'm grateful for that. But yeah, it's sort of sometimes the visuals can be a bit confusing too because you might see something that's not quite clear.
And it could be symbolic. It could be
exactly. So you got to. It's like a jigsaw puzzle. You kind of got to work out. Okay, well,
like charades.
I'm seeing. Yeah, pretty much. Like and charades. I'm really bad at charades. So
it's like charades. I've got a question from Beth. Beth wants to know, what is your best highlight this far being in the spiritual world? Ooh, I love that question, Beth.
I think almost like in a way starting the Thursday show in a way. Like I think I've got a lot of sort of mini highlights. You know, I earlier this year I did my first ever MBS festival in Sydney for Psychic TV. Yeah. You know, and that was such a great learning experience. I've never done a platform show. I've never done a festival, a market, nothing. Like I'm literally probably the most non-cliche psychic out there. I've never done a market, never done an MBS, never done a festival, never done a platform show. I've just only done private readings from the beginning. And with my media background, people, not just even in the psychic world who don't understand what I do, those people have said, why are you combining both? Do more. You've got these gifts and skills that you've learned in school. You've got a certificate or bachelor that, you know, you're doing nothing with. Why not combine? Why not use media and reach more people on a spiritual level. So that's something that I'm going to be doing more of. And this Thursday show that started in July is the start of that for me. So I suppose my highlight has just sort of begun.
I think that's fantastic. That's a great answer. Esther has said, that's what I call it, playing charades. It is like charades. It honestly is like charades. It is. Jen said something, and I want to share it. We love Jen. Jen said that so don't worry, Michael, it's a Virgo thing. So I'm assuming she's a Virgo too.
Yeah, she is, yeah.
Said, when I'm watching the Saturday night show, that's what I host, she's wearing makeup as if I'm on the... Oh, do you know what that means? Jen, do you know what that means? We're going to have to bring you onto a live. Yeah. So we'll have to bring you onto a live Saturday show, and Michael will have to bring you onto a live Thursday show, because if you're already ready for it, you might as well come on. Actually, Cherie, who I don't think is on anymore, she was buying something, I think she said, at a shop. I've brought Cherie onto a show before, and a couple of other... I think I brought Teresa on. I've brought a few people on, and I love it. So I think that would be a lot of fun. We should get into that, Michael. I think that it could be really exciting. Okay, let me just have a look if there was another thing that I wanted to bring up. Oh, no, I did bring that up. I've already picked that one up. Okay, so I suppose this sort of is an interesting question, because it's sort of like I don't want to say it's a common question, but it's an interesting one, I think, when people ask this. Can you get a read on yourself?
That is, yeah. You know what?
I know. I know.
The $1 million question. Can you read for yourself? Yes and no. Like yes and no. You know, like...
No, I love that answer. Yeah.
What I kind of mean by the yes and the no part is that obviously I still have intuitive vibes on things. So when I'm making a decision, I can kind of tap in and go, does this feel right? Should I turn left? Should I turn right? Should I buy this item? Should I not? You know, should I work with this client or not? There's a whole list of examples. So intuitively, I can read in the moment in that sense for my own protection and guidance. But if I was to go, when am I going to meet the love of my life? I couldn't tell you, and I kind of don't want to know.
Yes.
But at this, so and not because I get this question not a lot like directly like this, but when I've read it with clients and I've done them like a love reading, whatever, and we have like a little chat afterwards, and I sort of mention, oh yeah, I've been single for many years now, and I'm kind of whatever it is, like I'm happy with my lifestyle and whatnot. They kind of go, wouldn't you like to know when you're going to meet that person? I go, well, no, like when he comes, he comes. But again, that sounds wrong. But like basically, you know, I even if I wanted to, I couldn't. I mean, I could probably do maybe a card reading, and it might give me a time frame as such. But yeah, I'm not interested. And that's just one example. Like to be fair, I have done a reading on myself when I've been at a fork road in regards to careers and what career jobs to sort of take. If I've been given, say, 2 options. But again, that's more of like an intuitive reading as opposed to, and I think people confuse that or don't understand that maybe.
Exactly. And this is a perfect example of why I don't really like the word reading so much, because it confuses.
That's right. Yes.
See that you've nailed it. You've nailed my point. What I try to always say, it confuses and magicalizes things when it doesn't need to be. So I think again, we use the word reading because people understand it as that, but you just nailed it with how it really operates in our everyday life. You know, so
what do you call it again?
Feelings. Well, I mean, for me, I do consultations. So I offer consultations. Right. But there are, like, for example, you can do a card reading, you can do a coffee reading, but that's because you're reading a cup or you're reading the cards. But when you're sort of like reading a person, I think that's so obscure to call it.
Because you're not reading them.
Weird. You're not. It's just weird to say that. Like that's why.
True, though.
It is very true. Like I don't mind when people say a tarot reading because it's a reading of the tarot. I don't mind when people say coffee reading because it's a reading of the coffee grounds. But I think it's strange when people say, "Can you give me a reading of what?" Like it just doesn't make sense to me. You know what I mean? It just doesn't, because, and you will understand this in the media world. If you go to a reading, it's normally a play that's being read out,
Yes. Yeah. Like a
right?
table reading. Yeah.
And like exactly, that's what a reading is. Or a reading a book. But again, reading a book is like what I was explaining about reading cards, reading coffee, reading a book, reading a message, reading a text. Like that's sort of different. So you just nailed your answer so beautifully. Let me have a look at. Oh, Beth, I like Beth's little response. We like to be surprised sometimes. I love that. A friend of mine got engaged not long ago, and I knew they were going to get engaged. I was at a dinner with them, her and her partner that I knew she would be with before she actually knew. And I told her that, and she ended up with the guy who I told her she'd be with, and I love that she's with him. And we were laughing about it at the dinner, and then I'm like, oh my gosh, he's going to propose. I just knew. And like I bit my tongue and I so desperately wanted to say something, and I'm so glad I didn't. And she actually thanked me for not saying anything because she knew I knew. But she also said, thank you so much for not ruining the surprise. Because like a couple of days later, I just knew. So sometimes I also think it's that surprise element, like Beth said. Not only do psychics like to be surprised, they also like to just live their life. But I think people also, because I think it's sort of very natural to flow in life naturally without always knowing things. Because if you always knew things, it could be very boring. Don't you think?
Oh, 100%. 100%. I mean, if we
What a
knew,
snooze
yeah.
fest. What a snooze fest. It'd be so boring.
And then it's yeah, exactly. Like it's just yeah, exactly.
Hold on. Speaking of, we've also got something from Andrew, who we love. Andrew, good to see you. Andrew, sometimes I read myself, but most of the time it's from my guides and they tell me interesting information. I like that. Andrew downloads information from his guides a lot, and I find that so fascinating. Beth is laughing. She goes, haha, we want normal sometimes. Oh, totally. Beth, believe me, especially when you feel so abnormal. Sometimes when you feel normal, it's kind of a good thing, whatever normal really is.
I was about to say, what is normal?
Whatever normal really is. Alison, good to see you. She said, I've shared good evening. It's great to good evening, Harry. Great to see Michael being interviewed on the show. Thank you so much, Alison. It's wonderful to have you on. Esther said that she prefers to use automatic writing to receive guidance. Ooh, that's a bit fancy. I think it's great that we have so many intuitive people that are watching, because I think a lot of people like hearing this from expert perspective. Jen, who we love, has said it's kind of a good question.
I just saw that. Yeah.
Well, that was good timing. How do you block your psychic abilities when you're out shopping or at a dinner party? Jen, what a great question.
It is a really great question, and it's I'm gonna say, well, it's hard, but it gets easier. It's more so like, because there's other effects. So obviously alcohol, tiredness, things like that do really affect. So you could go into a dinner party, for example. So I use that as a good example, like fully prepared, fully protect, covered in crystals, in your underwear and your bra, or whatever. Whatever floats your crystal boat. But as soon as you have a couple of drinks, or you start to get tired, or maybe there's, someone's arrived at the party with a negative attitude and they're bringing the people down, you don't have control over what's happening in that scenario. You can be as protected to the nines, and it just takes one little thing to just let that, once it's like a domino effect, or it's like opening a window. The way I kind of explain to my clients is, it's like opening a window, like just that little bit. It might be like the tiniest gap in the window, but all the air is still coming through. It doesn't matter how small the gap is. There's still a crap load of air that's coming through that gap. So it just takes that one person to sort of knock you down, or that, a couple of drinks or whatever it might be, and you're just going to start receiving messages. So I suppose to kind of answer the question in a way, it's like you can be pretty protect, but you're never always fully closed off or switched off. It's really just staying conscious, and for me,
present.
Yeah, and just sort of reminding yourself, like, if you kind of feel like getting a bit tired or whatever, or messages start to come through, I kind of bring myself out of it a little bit and go, no, not tonight. I'm not receiving messages. But if messages are going to come through, they're going to come through. So you kind of never really off, so to speak. It's just learning to ignore and go, no, I'm not gonna tap into what they're trying to tell me, because then they're going to keep telling me more. Because spirit just needs just a tiny opening, and once they've got your attention, they don't care where you're at, what you're doing. You could be on the toilet, in the shower, whatever. They're going to give you messages. So
Well, I
if
think,
you learned it, yeah.
yeah, no, I think that was a good answer, and I think it's like just where you focus your attention really, and I think that's
Yeah.
the best thing. Like if and Beth said this, and I love this. Beth said, haha, it isn't normal, but our normal. Okay, is that better? You know what? Our normal is our normal, whatever that is, whatever that is. We did get a note from production about this. Did you see this note? The keep it under an hour, the download thing. I don't know how. Gosh, that's going to be tricky. Okay, I'll try my best to keep it under. Because
I don't worry about that because I can cut it up. Don't worry
Okay,
about
good.
that
Okay.
production.
All right, I'm
I
just
can
going
cut
to
this up
ignore.
like I
All right,
do
I'll
with your
ignore that.
interview.
All right, amazing. I'll ignore that. Okay, great. Okay. Jen said, yeah, because I mean, I don't know if we can keep it under. Anyway, Jen said,
Not with us.
It's too hard. It's too hard. Jen said, I asked that question because when I go somewhere, I feel something is going to happen, and it does. So I wanted to know how I could block it too.
Because
Ooh,
you're
I
open
like
to it,
that.
Jen. It's because you're
Yeah.
open to it. So, and you're basically telling spirit that you're allowing it to. So when you say that, was it? I feel like something's going to happen, and it does. It's because you've almost given spirit permission. So it's hard to get your head around it until you try, like, truly fully understand. But I just sort of say to spirit, nah, not today. Like, I'm not going to receive. And if I feel messages coming through, I go, no, I'm not interested. Like, I kind of really, you kind of got to put your foot down a little bit with spirit and kind of say to them, it's my day off kind of thing. You're in control. You got to remember that. And spirit,
I like that.
Spirit doesn't care. They'll give you messages anyway. But if you say, look, nah, thank you, but no. And as you get a bit more stronger, and as you get more stronger with those boundaries, and you go, nah, spirit will back off.
I love it. I think boundaries with the living and the dead are important. Okay. Esther has said you turn down the volume, but you can't switch it off. Ooh, that's an interesting analogy. I kind of like that one. Penny Lane has said, hello, Penny Lane. Good to see you. Penny Lane said, you choose where you put your energy and attention, which I totally agree, because I think it's like anything. If you're at a restaurant, I think, what was her example? Was it a party or shopping? Yeah. If you're at a restaurant or a party or a shopping center, like Jen was saying, if you're having a conversation with a friend who's next to you and the people in front of you are having a conversation, you can probably eavesdrop and tune into their conversation, or you can ignore it. It's like background noise. It's wherever you focus on, and I think that is so true, where you put your energy to and your attention. Jen has said, thank you, Michael, for your advice. It really helped me out. Oh, she's so beautiful. We love Jen. We're going to get you on the show on the live. So I'm just preparing you now. You will be on the live. And Cherie, who's
she's already got her makeup on.
Exactly, she's ready. Cherie, who's not even on the show anymore because she was buying things, I think. She'll probably watch this back. Cherie was one of our guests and she was great. So Jen, be prepared. I don't know when it will be. Actually, I'll probably have to talk to production because I think normally we try to do some fun things for the Christmas show because we've got end of year show coming up. Yeah, we normally do it for an end of year thing. So I'll talk to production and I'll see what the plan is for that one. Whoever's on, maybe we can do it for that. But I think Michael's going to sort of get into that as well. So get prepared. Okay, let's see if there's... people are liking it. Beth said that we are so funny. I love that. Okay, Michael, something I do want to ask you, and it is about your Thursday show. This show that we're doing tonight on the 6th of November was a very random last-minute decision where we thought we would interview you on your show. Now, you're taking a couple of weeks off to do all of your editing work and your film work and all of that. Is that going to still be happening? Do you know? So we have a couple of weeks off of Thursday after this? Because I feel like last time I said something, it wasn't that. So what are we going to say?
I know. We're a bit all like, we're just sort of full of surprises. No. So look, Thursday we'll continue on as normal. So it's just a matter of staying tuned into the Psyche TV Facebook page to find out who the guest is. So at this stage, we don't sort of have anyone super lined up as stuff. We're just working some stuff out, especially coming to the end of the year. So
why don't you do a solo?
We've done that already. So we've definitely got some confirmation coming. So the shows will continue on as normal. We're just trying to work out, I suppose, the system, because there's only so many things you can talk about before it gets boring. So we're trying to just work out, how to keep it interesting and keep it moving forward without sort of boring everyone with the same kind of
Okay.
topics every week.
Okay. No, that's good. Okay. So I'm glad I asked that because I was thinking they were okay. Very good. Anna said, "Oh my God, I have to watch this all over again." Anna, good to see you. Well, this was a surprise show, so a lot of people probably, if they didn't follow the page, like to see the notification, which a lot of people don't see always, they might not have known that this was happening because. I mean, I said on Saturday we're not having a Thursday show for a couple of weeks, and here we are. So, and I'm here. So I think you never know. So sometimes the announcements don't always just listen to the announcement. Follow up because sometimes an announcement changes, which is very funny. Okay, that's really good to know, Michael. Thank you for letting me know that. Okay, so something else I want to ask is in terms of your. Actually, I've got two questions about your lineage. Where does Dimarco come from? That name.
My mum?
Like your background.
Italian.
It's Italian. It's an Italian.
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
nice.
Italian name. Yeah.
Nice. That's an Italian background.
It's actually spelt wrong because when
Oh.
my great grandfather or my nonno came to Australia from Italy, they couldn't understand his handwriting. So when he wrote his name, it was supposed to be D. I know even I've forgotten what it is. Oh, it's supposed to be a DEMARCO. Yeah,
No
but
way.
they thought the E was an I, and so hence moving forward, our family name got changed legally because back then you just had to like write your name when you entered the country, and it's now DIM legally, but it's actually wrong. So all my ancestors and all my family that are still in Italy, it's actually DEM, and they constantly make fun.
I love it. I love it. Can you speak any Italian?
No. Yes,
Okay,
no, basic. I can understand
Basic?
it. I can understand it, but and if I had to communicate, depending on the dialect, I can. But no, not really. I like the Aussie version of speaking.
I love it. I love it. I'm so glad I asked that question. Okay. On that note, that speaking of still family, do any other relatives of yours have psychic abilities?
Well, this is what's interesting. So no, I'm firstborn. And I say that with
First
somewhat
generation.
kind of, yeah. I've done my research. My mum, well, I don't really know my dad, but my mum, no, I mean, open-minded spiritually, but not practicing or anything like that. My nonna, so my mum's mum, not that I'm aware of, and I also knew my biznonna, which is my great grandmother at the time, and there was nothing there. So unless, it was, maybe they were and it just wasn't spoken or recorded or anything like that. But in my research and the people that I've spoken to in my family, no one is a practicing psychic. No one is quite intuitive, apart from your natural human instinct intuitive, but nothing to the level that I work at. So as far as I'm aware, I'm the only working psychic in the family.
Love it. Love it. That was a very interesting.
Yeah. So I don't know if I technically am firstborn generation, but I feel like in some way I am. And people really struggle with that because a lot of people don't believe that can be the case because it's like it has to come from somewhere. And I do believe that, obviously. But
like
I just have no proof of that.
But that's like chicken or the egg, right?
It's got to start somewhere.
It's got to start somewhere. So whether it begins with Michael Dimarco or whether it begins with someone else, it's going to start somewhere.
Like, I'm not having kids anytime soon, so it's going to begin and end with me, essentially. So there's something in that too, though. Like, I've always thought about donating my sperm and things like that because I want to help others. So definitely it'll get passed on in the world somewhere. But yeah, I've always wondered that.
Okay, Penny has asked a great question, and we're going to pull this up. How long has Psychic TV been around? So I'll answer that one. And then it's how did you guys get into the show, which I want to ask you. And what has been the most memorable, life-changing, positive experience? So Psychic TV has been around since 2010. And it's been the only psychic show. It was on national television. Now we've obviously got this Facebook page. I started it pretty much from the beginning. I think it was 2010 I started it. I think it was just a few months in. So that's nearly 16, I can't believe I'm going to say this, but nearly 16 years ago, because we're nearly in 2026. I mean, that just blows my mind. But Michael, How did you get into it?
My story, and I know Jane's watching, so cover your ears, Jane.
Is she still watching?
So
Is she? I love her.
yeah,
So
she just commented.
she's the. Oh, does she? I'm loving the show. We love you. She's so funny.
Yeah, that's Jane commenting. So I can't remember the first time. So I applied. It would have been. I was living in Perth at the time, so it would have been like yeah, 20 I'm just trying to do the maths quickly. Probably 28 or 20 no, yeah, maybe 2018, something like that, 2017,
Before
2018.
COVID.
Before COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a better way. Good. Anyway, got rejected. So yeah, it wasn't so much a rejection. It was just we're not looking for anyone right now. So I thought, okay, whatever. And it was while it was still on 7/2. So I applied hoping that, I would get on the TV show because I was really, again, media, being a psychic, combining the two. I thought this is a great avenue to do both.
Right.
And I put all that in my application. So again, Jane, sorry, cover your ears. But basically, yeah, I got a, we're not looking right now. Thank you so much. And I thought, okay, whatever, let it go. It wasn't meant to be. And then it was it was during COVID. So it actually ended up being the end of 2019. I reapplied and interviewed with Jane, our CEO, directly, and pretty much, got the job like straight away. But obviously, we were off TV at that stage.
No way.
And so it was December 2019 when I officially signed up to the website. And then it was early 2022 when I joined in as production. So what started off as a sort of rejection ended up me now not only hosting now my own show, but also working in production. So I love the journey that I've come along with this company.
Do you know, that is such a great example of, if at first you don't succeed, pick yourself up and try again kind of thing.
Honestly.
Because seriously, I mean, you've gone from you didn't get chosen, you were rejected, then you got chosen, then you were on board, then you were into production, then you were in hosting it. I mean, you literally had a full
just climbs like
moment.
the ladder kind of thing, yeah.
But I think it also shows that sometimes it's not meant to be. It just might not be meant to be right now.
Yeah, it was just the timing.
Those things happen. That is so interesting that you say that, because a lot of people out there who are watching live and who may be watching this afterwards, because as I said, this was a surprise show. But for those people who may watch this back, when they hear that, they'll hear, well, sometimes if you get knocked back, it doesn't mean it's never going to happen. It just means it might not be the right time.
Correct. And I didn't have to reapply because we're off TV at that stage. So my first motivation wasn't there, but I can't even tell you. I think it was even actually through a friend that was already involved that said, "Oh, you should reapply again," kind of thing. And I thought, "Oh, no, they already said no once. I'm kind of doing my own thing." And then I just went, stuff it. I'll just see what happens. And today, here we are.
I'm so glad you did that. Now, we will wrap up soon because I know that I've just looked at the time and we're over time, and I'm sure production is screaming at me from that end. But I just knew I wouldn't be able to do it under an hour, and we've gone over. I've got a couple of questions I want to just leave on before we wrap up. What is something you would tell your younger self about your life now? Like if you could tell your younger self,
don't give up. Don't, even when you're being told to, and I've been told many times to my face, you should just give up. Why are you being a psychic? It's not a real job. It's not a real career. I've lost the love of my life, well, at the time, because he didn't see it as a real career, couldn't support me in that sense.
Really?
Yeah. I lost my last relationship, which ended next year will be 8 years. So I've been single for 8 years. That ended because he didn't see a career, or like, how can you live, or how can you survive, blah, blah, blah. It's too risky. Yeah, at the time when you're building yourself and you're building your clients, it is. But, looking back now, it's, I could have said, you know what, I'd rather keep you and not focus on my gift. And I'm kind of glad that I chose my gift in the end. So I've been told to give up. Yeah, I've been told it's never going to work, blah, blah, blah. My mum doesn't really even talk about it. She never asks about it. It's like unspoken. I've always said it was easier for me to come out as gay than a psychic.
Do you know what's interesting about that, though? And I think because of your media background in film and theatre and all that, you might know this, you might understand this. I think a lot of actors hear that too.
Yeah.
A lot of people in the acting world get that same feedback. So it's not necessarily just because of the psychic, spiritual, woo-woo element even. Let's just say they want to use that. Let's just say they want to use that.
Yeah.
I think it's very common for a lot of people to say that about things that aren't 9 to 5. Actors, I know a lot of actors, and a lot of actors have heard that.
A lot of creative people, yeah.
Creative people. So I think sometimes people who don't have creative vision poo-poo creatives. So I think you know, and that's
they
why
say it's too risky.
Well, yeah, but I think at the end of the day, even stepping outside is like sometimes stepping outside and crossing the road is also, you know, it just is, you know, like it, you know, anything.
These days it is.
Like that, if we lived like that, we literally wouldn't get out of bed. Even getting out of bed would be a risk. So I think it's sort of like you can give people grace because sometimes they don't see beyond their own sort of bubble in their head. But I think it is interesting that a lot of creatives have that. Okay, well, that was a good answer. And something I want to also ask just before we wrap up, because I know production is literally going, Harry, time. I do.
We love you, Anne-Marie.
We do love you, Anne-Marie. And I'm sorry, I knew I'd go over. When I got that message, don't go over. I thought I'm so going to go over. And then when I looked at the time, I'm like, yeah, we're over. Something I also want to ask you, just as we wrap up, is if there's something that helped you on your spiritual journey, on your psychic path, what do you think it was the most? Like, what helped you the most? Was it a show? Was it a book? Was it just your own?
Two things. So Charmed.
Oh, I love that.
Charmed actually made me work out who I was as a person, especially when I was younger, because Charmed ended in 2005 or 4, whenever it was, and I was just 18 at the time. Yes. So so Charmed helped me to understand that it's okay to be a witch, so to speak, because I thought I was for a while. I practiced Wiccan for a while, called the corners, did spells, learn all about Wiccan and everything. So I thought that's what I was, you know. Thought that I was a witch for a while, did the corners, did everything, like, and spell casting is very much like there's a lot of wording and things in the psychic world that do kind of combine, especially with the protection side of things, you know. As a witch, the way you protect it with sage and whatnot, and calling the corners, which is a form of protection, does kind of incorporate into the psychic world. So hence the confusion, because it's a blurred line between the two. And I really resonated with Phoebe because she got premonitions and I kept seeing visions. So, you know, 2 and 2, our TV commercials were on during Charmed, according to Jane. Okay.
Do you know, I was so funny.
What?
So I knew that. I
didn't. So I watched Charmed.
I did. I knew that. So I was going to actually bring that up when you finished, because I think I've even told you Charmed was a big thing for me too, because like in my journey, it helped me understand things as well. So it's not uncommon to hear this coming from you, I suppose, because that was my story too. I resonated with Phoebe. I resonated with that whole thing. I kind of knew I wasn't a witch, but we didn't really have any names for it. But it was sort of the same thing for you. But I knew, so because Charmed got replayed a lot on television. So when Charmed finished, it got replayed on television, like, you know, reruns. Like you can watch I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched, everything replays, The Nanny. And Charmed was replaying a lot at one point. And the TV commercials for Psychic TV were actually during the reruns of Charmed. I knew that.
Okay. Yeah. That's funny.
Because there is a correlation. There is a correlation. So I'm not surprised that you had that as well.
And that was it. And I practiced as a witch for a while, and then went for a psychic reading, and the person that in Melbourne where I live, and who I still speak to this day, and we're talking years now. Like, I've been doing this now for probably close to 15, 16 years. And she became a mentor. So she helped me to go, you know, she kind of incorporated everything I learned as a witch and go, well, you're actually a psychic. Here's why. And her name's Janet, and she lives out in regional Victoria. And has been reading for you know, so many lifetimes. Yeah, she's one of those old souls. Love her to death. Like, she's like, I think in her 80s now.
Oh, I love her already. I love her. I love her.
She's a gorgeous soul. And she told me the gift, and basically, yeah, she really, really helped me, and then but was really tough and like, okay, here's the information, off you go. And pushed me out the door like a bird with like a nest. And
I'm glad she did.
Yeah, and now I've just learned, and now I mentor people myself. So yeah, it's really full circle.
Full circle.
I still watch
Charmed. And on that note, on full circle, thank you so much for everyone for joining us on this surprise live show. And again, as I said, it was a last minute. And if you didn't get to watch it live, you can watch it back when we replay. You'll see the replay of it, because a lot of people may not have even known that we went live. So I'm glad that we did it. I'm glad that and thank you, Michael, for asking me. Like, even though,
and thank you for doing it. Like, it's
totally
been great.
It was amazing. I'm looking at the time, I'm thinking, oh, we could keep going, but I'm like, we could keep going. But it was amazing. And thank you so much for opening up a little bit more about you and your life and your gift. And I look forward to your Thursday show continuing, and you doing a great job with that. And I, of course, look forward to the Saturday show, which I host. So everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Just to let everyone know as well, I suppose, don't forget the website is psychictvinternational.com. And of course, the website gives you all the information on the show and also the psychics. But if you want to talk one-on-one with any psychic on the phone, just call up in Australia 02907 10199, or our international number worldwide is +61 488 25177. And you can call now, and you can speak to Amazing Grace on pin 9888. You can speak to Ben Graham on pin 9166. You've got Blessed Beth on pin 9150. You've got Judith Sky on pin 9125. Mystical L on pin 9151. And Natalie Norton Baker on pin 9810. So on that note, thank you all so much for joining us. I will be back on Saturday hosting on the 8th. And Michael, you'll do next Thursday?
Yes, I'll be back next week.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. Did you enjoy this?
I did. Thank you. Yeah, really. Like, I know I've interviewed you on this show. Now you've done me, so I really I do appreciate it. And
no, my pleasure.
Glad that people could learn a bit more about their host every week. So
it was great.
Everyone's covered now.
It was awesome. I think we nailed it. All right. Now, a production just sort of said that they've got. So anyway, so we have to wrap up. She's gone. She's gone.
She's out of here.
Thank God you have production access, because when production exits before we end, we can't end. Yeah. So that's the thing. So thank God you have production access. Otherwise, the show would never end. Anyway, on that note, good night, everyone. I will see you this Saturday. Sorry, I will see you this Saturday night at 8 o'clock Australian Eastern Time, and Michael will see you next Thursday. So good night, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us.